I started taking salsa classes as a New Year's resolution. It was January. I was freshly single after a 5-year relationship ended badly, and I needed to do something that was just for me. Something that would force me out of my comfort zone. Something that had nothing to do with my ex or the life we had built together. I had never danced before. Not really. I was the person who avoided the dance floor at weddings. The person who made excuses when friends suggested going out dancing. I felt awkward in my body, like I was never quite sure what to do with my limbs. Dancing seemed like something other people did. Confident people. People who were comfortable being looked at. But I was 26 years old and I was tired of being afraid of things. So I signed up for beginner salsa classes at a studio 3 blocks from my apartment. I told myself I would go to at least 6 classes before I let myself quit. Just 6. I could survive 6. The first class was terrifying. I showed up in yoga pants and a t-shirt, not knowing what to wear, and immediately felt underdressed compared to the other women in their dance skirts and fitted tops. The instructor was a woman named Nadia. She was maybe late 20s, with dark hair pulled back in a high ponytail, wearing dance shoes and black pants that moved with her like water. She was beautiful in this effortless way that made me feel even more awkward. "Welcome," she said to the group of about 15 beginners. "I am Nadia, and I will be your instructor for this session. Salsa is about more than steps. It is about connection, trust, letting your body speak when words cannot. Today we start with the basics. I spent that first class stepping on my own feet, going the wrong direction, completely lost. But Nadia was patient. She would come over, adjust my posture, guide my hips, and I would try again. By the end, I was sweating and exhausted, and sure I would never come back. But I did come back. Because something about it, even through the awkwardness, felt good. The music, the movement, the way I had to focus so completely on my body that my anxious brain finally shut up for an hour. By week 3, I could do the basic step without thinking about it. By week 5, I could follow a simple turn. By week 8, I was hooked. I came to class twice a week, practiced at home, watched videos online. Dance became the thing that made the rest of my life bearable. Work stress, loneliness, my ex texting me asking if we could talk, all of it faded when I was in that studio. And Nadia was an incredible teacher. She had this way of breaking down complicated movements into pieces I could understand. She was encouraging without being patronizing. She made everyone feel capable. I found myself looking forward to her corrections, to the moments when she would place her hands on my shoulders or hips to adjust my positioning. It was just teaching, just part of learning, but I noticed it in a way I probably should not have. I did not think about it too much. I was focused on learning, on getting better, on proving to myself that I could do something difficult. 2 months in, we started partner work. Up until this point, we had been learning solo moves, individual technique. But salsa is a partner dance. You cannot do it alone. Nadia demonstrated with one of the more advanced students, showing us how the lead and follow worked, how communication happened through touch and pressure rather than words. "Everyone partner up," she said. "We will rotate partners every few minutes so you get practice with different people." I partnered with other beginners, stumbling through the steps, apologizing constantly when I went the wrong way. It was awkward, but fun. Everyone was making mistakes. We were learning together. Then Nadia came over to demonstrate something with me. She needed to show the class a specific technique, and I happened to be standing closest. "Come here," she said. "Let me show everyone proper hand placement for close embrace." She positioned herself in front of me, took my right hand in her left, placed her other hand on my shoulder blade, stepped close enough that I could feel the warmth of her body. "Okay, when you are in close embrace, you want to be close enough that you can feel your partner's breathing. You want connection, not space." She pulled me closer, not inappropriately. This was dance. This was teaching. But suddenly I was very aware of how close we were, how her hand felt on my back, how I could smell her perfume, something warm and slightly spicy, how when she moved I could feel it through my whole body. "See?" she said to the class. "This is connection. Now you try with your partners." She stepped back and I felt like I could breathe again. I partnered with another student and tried to replicate what she had shown us, but it felt different, less intense. My body was still humming from those 30 seconds in Nadia's arms. I told myself it was just because she was good at dancing, because she knew what she was doing. It was not about her specifically. It was about finally understanding what dance connection felt like. But over the next few weeks, I started noticing other things. The way she laughed at someone's joke. The way she tied her hair up when she was demonstrating something complicated. The way she looked when she danced for real, not just teaching, but performing during the showcase she did at the studio one Friday night. I went to watch and I could not take my eyes off her. She was magnetic. I pushed the thoughts away. She was my teacher. I was figuring out my life post-breakup. I did not need to complicate things by developing some kind of crush on my dance instructor. Besides, I had only ever dated men. I had questioned my sexuality before, wondered if maybe I was not completely straight, but I had never acted on it. Never let myself explore it. And this was not the time to start. 8 weeks into classes, things changed. It was a Tuesday evening. The class was smaller than usual, only 4 students including me. We were working on intermediate partner work, more complicated patterns, closer embrace techniques. Nadia was having us rotate partners, but with so few people, I ended up dancing with her more than usual. She pulled me aside at one point to work on my technique individually. The other students were practicing together across the room. The music was playing, a slow bachata that made the whole studio feel intimate. "You are too tense," Nadia said. "You need to relax into the lead. Trust me." She positioned herself in front of me, took my hand, placed her other hand on my lower back, pulled me close, closer than we had been before. "This is where you need to be. Right here. Feel how we are connected." I nodded. I could not speak. Every nerve in my body was awake. "Breathe," she said softly. "Let your body respond to mine. Stop thinking and just feel." The music shifted to something even slower. She began to lead me through the movement. A basic step, then a turn, then back into close embrace. Her hand pressed against my lower back, guiding me, my hand on her shoulder, our faces inches apart. I could feel her breath, the heat of her body through the thin fabric of my dance top. And then it started. The shaking. Not obvious at first, just a slight tremor in my hands, then my legs. My whole body starting to vibrate with something I could not control. It was not nervousness about dancing. It was not lack of skill. It was pure, overwhelming physical response to being this close to her, to being touched by her, to smelling her perfume and feeling her warmth and looking into her eyes from a distance where I could see flecks of gold in the brown. Nadia felt it immediately. She stopped moving but did not step back. Her hand stayed on my back. She looked at me with concern. "Ava, why are you shaking?" I should have lied. I should have said I was cold or tired or had too much coffee. But she was touching me, looking at me, waiting for an answer. And I could not lie. Not when someone was literally holding me, feeling my body's response, asking me directly. "Because I am attracted to you," I said quietly. "Being this close to you makes me feel things I cannot control." My body just reacts. The words hung in the air between us. The music was still playing. The other students were still practicing across the room, oblivious. Nadia's hand was still on my back, but now we were both hyper-aware of it. Her expression was unreadable. "We need to talk," she said finally. "After class. Please stay." She stepped back, returned to teaching the group as if nothing had happened. I spent the rest of class in a fog of mortification and panic. What had I just done? I had confessed feelings to my dance instructor in the middle of a lesson. She probably thought I was completely inappropriate. She probably wanted to tell me to switch to a different class. I had ruined everything. When class ended and the other students left, I considered just leaving too, pretending I had misunderstood. But Nadia caught my eye and gestured for me to stay. She locked the studio door, not for any sinister reason, just so we would not be interrupted. Then she sat down on the floor, cross-legged, and patted the space next to her. "Sit. We are not doing this as teacher and student. We are doing this as equals." I sat, nervous and embarrassed. "I am sorry," I started, I know that was completely inappropriate, and I should not have said anything, and I can switch to a different class if you want me to. Stop, she said gently. Thank you for being honest. That took courage. I did not feel courageous. I felt humiliated. I need to tell you something, Nadia continued. I am attracted to you too. I have been since you started classes. I stared at her. What? Yes. But I did not say anything because you are my student. That is a boundary I do not cross. Ever. I have seen too many instructors take advantage of students. I have seen the damage it does. I will not be that person. So what happens now? I asked. Now we decide. She counted on her fingers. Option 1, you switch to a different instructor. We stop being teacher and student. And then, maybe we explore this. Option 2, you continue as my student. We pretend this conversation never happened and we maintain professionalism. Option 3, you stop dancing entirely, which I really do not want because you are progressing beautifully and you clearly love it. I thought about it. The showcase competition was in 2 months. We had been training for it. I did not want to back out. But I also did not want to just pretend this conversation had not happened. What if I want to finish this session with you? I asked. We are training for the showcase. I do not want to abandon that commitment. But after the showcase, I switch instructors? Nadia considered this. Okay, we finish the session. We perform the showcase. We keep strict boundaries. Nothing happens until you are not my student anymore. Then we decide if this still makes sense. Can we do that? I asked. Keep boundaries when we both know how we feel? We have to, she said firmly. Because if we do not, I lose my integrity. And you deserve this to be real, not something that started because of a power dynamic. I nodded. Okay. Professional until after the showcase. Professional, she agreed. But Ava? I meant what I said. I am attracted to you. This is not just me being nice. When you are ready, when the power dynamic is gone, I would really like to take you to dinner. I felt something warm spread through my chest. Okay, after the showcase. We shook hands like we were making a business deal. It would have been funny if it was not so loaded with everything we were not saying. The next 2 months were the most difficult and exhilarating of my life. We trained for the showcase twice a week, sometimes more. Nadia choreographed a bachata routine for us that was beautiful and sensual and required us to be in close contact for most of it. Every class was torture. The good kind, but still torture. We maintained strict professionalism. We did not talk about our feelings again. We focused entirely on the dancing. But the tension was always there, simmering under the surface. Every time she adjusted my posture, every time we ran through the routine and our bodies moved together, every time she praised my improvement, I felt it. And I knew she felt it too. I could see it in the way she looked at me sometimes when she thought I was not paying attention. My ex kept texting me during this time. He wanted to meet up, talk things through, see if we could work it out. I finally told him no. Definitively. It was over. I was moving on. I did not tell him about Nadia. I did not tell him I was questioning everything I thought I knew about my sexuality. I just told him I needed space to figure out who I was outside of our relationship. He did not take it well, but it needed to be done. I also started doing research, reading about bisexuality, watching videos from people talking about late sexual awakening, joining online communities. I wanted to understand what I was feeling, whether it was specific to Nadia or something broader about my identity. The more I learned, the more things clicked into place. Moments from my past that I had dismissed or reinterpreted. Intense friendships that maybe were not just friendships. Attraction I had felt but not named because I did not have the framework for it. I started to accept that I was probably bisexual, that I had been for a long time. I just had not let myself see it. It was terrifying and liberating at the same time. I felt like I was meeting myself for the first time. 3 weeks before the showcase, during a particularly intense rehearsal, Nadia stopped mid-routine and looked at me. You are not shaking anymore. What? When we dance now, you do not shake. You are completely steady, strong. I had not even noticed. But she was right. Somewhere along the way, I had stopped being overwhelmed by the physical proximity. I had learned to channel it into the dance instead of being consumed by it. Is that good? I asked. It is very good, she said. It means you trust yourself. You trust your body. That is what dance teaches us. After class, as I was packing up my stuff, she came over. 3 more weeks, she said quietly. Then you are not my student anymore. 3 more weeks, I agreed. I am taking you to the best restaurant I know, she said. Somewhere we can actually talk without worrying about professionalism. I smiled. I am holding you to that. The night of the showcase arrived faster than I expected. I was terrified. I had never performed in front of people before. The studio was packed with other dancers, friends, family, people from the local dance community. Our routine was scheduled for the middle of the program. Backstage, I was shaking again, but this time it was pure nervousness. Nadia found me pacing and put her hands on my shoulders. Hey, look at me. You have practiced this 100 times. You know it perfectly. It is just you and me out there. Forget everyone else. Just dance with me. What if I mess up? Then we keep going. Dance is not about perfection. It is about connection. And we have that. The music started. We walked onto the floor. The lights were bright. I could not see the audience, which helped. The bachata beat started, slow and sensual. Nadia took my hand and we fell into the routine. And everything we had been holding back for 2 months came through in the dancing. Every careful, professional boundary we had maintained translated into tension and chemistry on the floor. The routine required close embrace, hip movements, moments where our faces were inches apart. A lift where she held me, a spin where we came back together, a final pose where I was pulled against her, both of us breathing hard. I was not thinking about the steps anymore. I was not thinking about the audience. I was just dancing with her, letting my body speak everything I had not been allowed to say out loud. And she was doing the same. Anyone watching could see it. The chemistry was undeniable. The routine ended with us staring at each other, both breathing heavy, suspended in the moment. The applause broke through and we remembered where we were. We stepped apart, bowed, and walked off stage. Backstage, I was high on adrenaline and emotion. That was incredible, Nadia said. You were incredible. I could not even form words. My whole body was still humming. 1 more week, she said, looking at me with an intensity that made my breath catch. Your session ends next week. Then I take you to dinner. As equals. Not as teacher and student. Just 2 people who want to know each other better. Okay, I managed to say. 1 more week. I can wait 1 more week. That week was the longest of my life. My last official class was the following Tuesday. It felt surreal. After 3 months of twice-weekly classes, of learning and improving and being part of this community, I was stepping away. Not from dance entirely, but from Nadia as my teacher. Other students asked if I was continuing with the next session. I told them I was switching to a different instructor for a while. They did not question it. People switched instructors all the time for various reasons. After that last class, Nadia asked me to stay behind again. This time, when everyone left, she did not sit on the floor. She stayed standing, and there was something different in her energy. Less teacher, more just herself. So, she said, still interested in that dinner? Very interested, I said. Friday night? I know a place. Great food, quiet enough that we can actually talk. Friday is perfect. She smiled. Good. It is a date then. An actual date. Not a lesson. Not a professional meeting. A date. A date, I agreed. We went to dinner that Friday, and it was everything I had been imagining for 2 months. We talked for 3 hours. About our lives, our families, our histories. She told me about growing up in the Dominican Republic, learning to dance before she could walk, moving to the US as a teenager. I told her about my breakup, my realization about my sexuality, how dance had become my anchor during a chaotic time. We talked about what happened in the studio, the moment I confessed, how she had felt, how hard it had been to maintain boundaries when all she wanted was to kiss me. Why did you maintain them? I asked. You could have just said yes. We could have had these 2 months. No, she said firmly, because then you would always wonder if it was real or if it was just because I was your teacher and you were conditioned to follow my lead, because I would always wonder if I had taken advantage. This way we both know. This is real. This is choice. Equal choice. She was right. And I loved her for it. Not loved, not yet. But something close. Something that could become love. We started dating properly after that. It was different from anything I had experienced before. More intense, more physical in the sense that our bodies already knew how to communicate even when our words stumbled. We would go social dancing together, not performing, just for fun, and it felt like a conversation I had been waiting my whole life to have. I switched to a different instructor for my continued lessons. A very nice man named Carlos, who was a good teacher, but who did not make my whole body hum when he adjusted my posture. I kept improving, I kept loving dance, but now I also had Nadia in my life in a different way. 3 months into dating, my ex reached out one more time. He had heard through mutual friends that I was seeing someone. He wanted to know if it was serious, if there was any chance for us. I met him for coffee to give him closure. I owed him that after 5 years. I told him I was seeing someone, that it was serious, that I had realized things about myself that I could not have realized while we were together, that I was happy. He asked if it was a man. I told him no. He was surprised, confused. He asked questions I did not owe him answers to, but I gave them anyway because I wanted him to understand. I was bisexual. I had always been. I just had not known it, or had not let myself know it. He did not take it well. He said things that hurt. Implied I had wasted his time. Suggested I had been confused or lying. I left that coffee feeling sad but also clear. I had not wasted his time. I had not been lying. I had been figuring myself out. That was allowed. I told Nadia about it that night. She held me while I cried, not because I missed my ex, but because coming out, even to someone from your past, is hard. Because having someone question your identity is painful. Because change is difficult, even when it is right. You are so brave, she said. You know that? You let yourself question everything you thought you knew. You let yourself feel what you felt even when it was scary. That is real courage. I did not feel brave. But hearing her say it helped. 4 months into dating, Nadia invited me to watch her perform at a professional showcase. Not teaching, not amateur. A real performance with a professional partner she had been dancing with for years. I sat in the audience and watched her dance bachata, salsa, and kizomba with this man who had clearly danced with her 1,000 times. They were incredible together, smooth and synchronized and breathtaking, and I was not jealous, because I understood now that dance partnership did not equal romantic partnership, that the connection she had with him was real, but different from what we had, that she could dance with him and love dancing with him and still come home with me. After the show, she found me in the lobby. What did you think? You were amazing, I said honestly. Absolutely stunning. Want to dance? She asked. Not here. There is a social dance at a club nearby, just for fun. No performance, just us. We went to the club and danced for hours. Not the choreographed routines we had practiced, not the teacher and student dynamic. Just two people who loved dance and loved each other, moving together because it felt good, because our bodies understood each other, because this was joy. On the drive home, she said, I love you. You know that? It was the first time either of us had said it. I turned to look at her. I love you too. I never thought I would meet someone like you, she said. Someone who understands that dance is not just hobby for me. It is who I am, and you do not just accept that. You are part of it now. You taught me more than how to dance, I said. You taught me how to trust my body, how to be present, how to let myself feel without overthinking. You taught me that I could do hard things. She reached over and took my hand. We taught each other. We had been dating for 6 months when she asked if I wanted to move in with her. Not right away, but eventually, when it felt right. She had an apartment with space for a home studio. We could practice there. Build a life that included dance and everything else. I said yes. Not immediately, but soon. I wanted to finish figuring out my own space first. But yes, definitely yes. Looking back now, I can see how much I have changed since that first awkward salsa class where I could barely do a basic step. I am not just a better dancer, though I am that too. I am more confident, more comfortable in my body, more honest about who I am and what I want. I started taking salsa classes to fill the void left by my breakup, to prove to myself I could do something hard. I did not expect to fall in love. I definitely did not expect to fall in love with a woman, with my instructor, with someone who would teach me that attraction is not just mental or emotional, but physical and visceral, and something your body knows before your mind catches up. My dance partner asked why I was shaking, and I told her the truth, that I was attracted to her, that my body could not hide it. That confession changed my life. Not just because it led to a relationship, but because it forced me to be honest with myself, about my sexuality, about what I wanted, about who I was becoming. We did it the right way. We waited. We respected boundaries. We changed the power dynamic before we pursued anything. And because of that, what we have is solid, real, built on choice and respect and genuine connection. I still take dance classes, with Carlos now, who is great. Nadia and I still dance together all the time, but not as teacher and student, as partners, as equals. As two people who found each other through dance and built something beautiful from that first moment of physical honesty. Sometimes your body knows the truth before your mind is ready to accept it. Sometimes the shaking, the trembling, the physical response you cannot control is your body trying to tell you something important. My body told me I was attracted to Nadia before I was ready to hear it. And when she asked why I was shaking, I could have lied. But I did not. I told the truth. And that truth, as terrifying as it was to say out loud, set everything else in motion. I am grateful for that moment. For the courage to be honest. For finding someone who valued ethics as much as attraction. For learning that sometimes the scariest thing you can do is admit what your body already knows. And for discovering that on the other side of that fear is a life more authentic and joyful than anything I could have imagined. My dance partner asked why I was shaking. I told her it was because I was attracted to her. And that confession taught me how to live in my body, trust my truth, and build a love that honors both.